Welcome to Creative on Purpose Live. This is a show dedicated to helping advancing solopreneurs build businesses that actually fund their lifestyle freedom. And today I created this live to talk a little bit about why I created the purpose-driven prosperity system operating system, how it works, where it lives, and I also would love to answer your questions about the operating system, or if you just have questions in general about your business. We can kick things off by giving you a question to answer in the chat here. And if you're willing to share, what is the messiest part of your business right now? What's the thing that you're trying to work out? What's the thing that you're trying to fix or fine tune? What's the messiest part of your business right now? And if you'll put that in the chat, that will give us some fodder for some questions. But along the way, if you have any questions about any of the things that I'm sharing about the purpose-driven prosperity system, operating system, then I would love to answer those questions. And I would love for this to actually be mostly Q&A. So I'm going to try to just give you a quick overview of what the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system is and how it's been packaged into the Accelerator and why I packaged it into an Accelerator. And then we'll get into your questions. So the first thing that I want to say is just out of transparency that I have built businesses using the usual digital marketing playbook. I have created ideal customer avatars. I have created power offers. I have cobbled together leaky funnels made up of email sequence opt-ins and email sequences and powered them with ads to get the usual return on investment for all that time, attention, money, and effort that goes into the digital marketing approach to promote a business. And the truth is that I actually, several years ago, reached that goal that we all are always seeming to be chasing, $10,000 consistently every month. I achieved that number after just a period of maybe 6 to 9 months and sustained that tempo for several months. But what I ended up finding out was, number one, I had created a business that I didn't really love, doing work I didn't really like, and frankly, working with a lot of people that I really didn't care about. The other part of it was that I actually was spending like 80 to 90% of my day in my business on digital marketing bullshit, grinding out content for my newsletter, for my blog, for my podcast, for my YouTube channel, for social media, and trying to do all the usual juggling with chasing the algorithm and trying to hack the algorithm, and then paying for the pleasure of having Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn show my content to 4% of my audience instead of 2% of my audience. And it was just exhausting. And so after a period of 6 or 7 months, I just decided this is not why I got into solopreneurship. This is not why I created a business. I created a business so that I could earn a living doing work I love with people I care about on my terms. And instead, I found myself turning into something I never dreamed of being or wanted to be, which was a very skilled digital marketer who could create compelling power offers, compelling funnels that performed at slightly above industry averages, and grinding out all the content that goes along with that, creating sales pages, webinars, all the usual things. Just, it was exhausting. And at a certain point, I literally just blew that business up out of despair. I didn't like what I was doing, didn't like the people I was working with, the work I was doing. And even though I feel like I did deliver on all the promises I was making, I was just spending way too much time on all the digital marketing BS, way too much time on social media, and not nearly enough time doing the work I love with people I care about, and even less time with funding the lifestyle that I wanted to be living, which was spending time with my wife and kids. The things really all changed for me when my older son and his wife announced that they were pregnant. This is going back 4 years now. And my wife and I raised our hands to be full-time daycare providers. And as soon as the kids were gone, after we had all, had our celebration, my wife and I looked at each other and said, how the hell are we going to take care of our grandson? We both work 8 to 10 hours a day. How are we going to spend 8 or 9 hours a day with our grandson 5 days a week? And that's what kind of put me on this path to reimagining what a successful business actually looks and feels like, and how I was going to work towards funding the lifestyle freedom that I actually started my business for in the first place. And what I did was I started from reasoning from first principles. Fundamentally, I knew that the only things I really needed to have a successful business was an offer that was irresistible enough for an audience or a market that was eager enough for the solution to the problem that I could solve or the aspiration I could help them achieve, and a way of putting that irresistible enough offer in front of that eager enough audience. And I had already done this in my career as a professional musician and a guitar studio owner. I had a very successful music career. I had a very successful guitar studio. I never ran any advertisements. I never created an ideal customer avatar. I never created a power offer. I never created a funnel. And I never wasted any time on social media talking about how great I was at all the things that I was doing. I just showed up every day. I did my thing out loud and in public, in places where the kind of people that would enjoy the kind of things that I did were already gathered. And every day, enough of them expressed interest in supporting me or did support me in ways that allowed me to wake up the next day and do it all again. So fundamentally, I knew I could replicate what I had already accomplished as a musician and guitar teacher as a business owner. And so through the course of about a year, I went from working 10-hour days, 7 days a week, to working 2-hour days, 5 days a week. And not only did I not lose any revenue, I actually doubled my revenue in my first year with this new approach, which has now been all distilled and put into what I call the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system. And it's all now packaged in an accelerator that you can access and either design a business or redesign a business to get you better results easier and faster in just a couple hours or a couple days instead of having to work on it for months or years. So I think, like myself, everyone here probably understands that most of us are not failing to succeed at the level that we'd like to succeed at because we're not talented enough or we don't work hard enough. You're all plenty talented. You're all working plenty hard. It's not the lack of any missing tactic or tool or strategy. We don't have that operating system that we can engage with and fine tune over time so that we're consistently doing the right things, the things that need to be done, and ignoring the things that don't need to be done, and do them in the right sequence at the right time with and for the right people. And just trusting that if we can work in our business, spend most of our time in our business doing the work that we actually started our business to do, to make the change that we want to make in the world, to make the difference that we can make in the way only we can make it. We spend most of our time doing that work. Our marketing problem will solve itself because we will become preeminent in that craft or in the creation of our product. If you become the best in the world at doing what you can do and the way only you can do it, and make promises that you can keep with people whose lives would be enhanced if you were to share your talents, your expertise, your processes, your frameworks, your products with them, their lives would be so transformed that people wouldn't be able to help but notice a difference, and they would be asking what happened to them, and they would be talking about you, or they would be so delighted by what you helped them accomplish or the problem you helped them solve that they'd be talking about you. Happens on Substack here all the time. We have people like Bree and Penny and Alice who are consistently sharing my content and allowing me to share the testimonials they have about their experience working with me because they are delighted with the change that they are making. They are some of my most appreciated evangelicals of the movement that I'm trying to create to help purpose-driven solopreneurs earn a better living and make a bigger difference by doing more of the work that they love, less of the work that they hate, and do that in a way that does not rely on any digital marketing trickery, hackery, silliness, needlessness, and just simply do meaningful work that matters with people they care about. And so the operating system is made up of 3 core frameworks, and they are the Forever Offer framework, which is a way of creating a singular, perennial offer based on your positioning in the market that you stand up in that allows you to achieve preeminence in the work that you do. It doesn't rely at all on niching. Niching is a trap. If you are trying to jam yourself and fit yourself into a crowded marketplace by differentiating on features and benefits or on the outrageousness of your no-brainer guarantees or the digging into the pain points and making promises that you can't keep around the things that people won't have to do with your power offer, it's a really hard way to go. You're going to spend all of your time tweaking your power offer, tweaking your funnel, tweaking your ideal customer avatar. That's not doing the work that you signed up to do when you decide you were going to make a living making a difference. So the Forever Offer gets rid of all of that. You're going to differentiate purely on positioning in a way that helps the people who share your values and need your talents to enhance their lives actually become increasingly more attracted to you. They'll go from being exposed to the difference you can help them make to being desiring to be in greater proximity to you, to then becoming want to have greater access to you. And it all comes down to just it's basically a 5-minute exercise. Give you a framework for creating a 1-sentence Forever Offer statement. And then I give you a GPT and a worksheet that will allow you to create idea viruses around that Forever Offer that spread themselves throughout the marketplace because they are so sticky and engaging for the people that are in your hive that need the kind of help that you can provide them or need the kind of help that you can provide them for solving a problem or for achieving an aspiration. So that's part 1, the Forever Offer framework. Again, you can watch the entire training in about 40 minutes. You can take 5 minutes to craft a Forever Offer. There's a GPT to help you do that. You can take 10 minutes to create some idea viruses. Take you 5-10 minutes to do that. And you're immediately testing out in the field, in the wild, these offers and these promotional tools that will help get the word out with greater ease and velocity. Which brings us to the second part of the core frameworks, which is Be a Blessing Marketing. Be a Blessing Marketing is a client attraction system that doesn't require any funnel gymnastics, no ideal customer avatars, no social media content strategy, no email sequences, no freebies, no opt-ins, no power offers, none of that. Be a Blessing Marketing is simply a system built upon the belief that if you are truly good enough at what you do, that you can create the transformation that you are promising people through your product or service. And if you simply have a sequence of making small promises that you can easily keep and you compound those through a short series of conversations, that you will never lack for clients or customers because you are compounding goodwill. You are demonstrating your expertise. You're demonstrating your competence and proficiency. or the competence and proficiency of your product. And by doing that, you are the work you do becomes your marketing. The difference you make is something that is spread by the people that you make it with and for. And so it's a way of reducing 80 to 90% of the time you spend in your business on grinding out content, creating new offers and launching them, creating opt-ins and lead magnets and email sequences and nurture sequences and webinars and sales pages and getting on ridiculous discovery calls that nobody wants to be on. And instead, you just show up every day, do your thing out loud and in public, show up as you are with what you have, do your thing, let them watch, and your people will find you. And then the third piece of the uh, purpose-driven prosperity model operating system is close the gap. This is a process that we use for identifying your most immediate business priority and crafting a path that will get you there in the least amount of time, with the least amount of effort, with the least amount of risk, in a compounding flywheel that just continues to get collapse time to target with greater ease and velocity. I run it as a 90-day process. I find quarterly really works for me and a lot of the folks I work with, but I've seen it be applied with 30-day or 60-day cycles. And it's not something that you're locked into for 30, 60, or 90 days. It's actually a process that iterates and improves as you go, as you engage the field, collect the data, analyze the data, strategize based on the data, make improvements, and then test those improvements as you go. So all of this now lives in the inner circle. So we have Penny and Bree and Alice. They are all folks that have gone through the beta. If any of you all have already been very generous in providing testimonials, but if you want to drop something in the chat here for other people, you've experienced the power of this accelerator. We did it live over the course of 3 days, about an hour a day, about 30 to 40 minutes of me presenting the concepts and then workshopping and implementing them and answering questions over the course of 3 days. And I took all of that content and I distilled each day down into an enhanced video replay that includes the presentation notes, includes worksheets, and includes a prompt that you can put into my Cornerman coaching app, and it will actually create an implementation plan for each of the core frameworks. So in about an hour you can spend about an hour of framework to not only learn and understand it, but actually implement it and start testing it out in the field right away. And so Bree's been kind enough to say it's so distilled and clear, so much clarity, amazeballs. I love that. It's something I'm really obviously passionate about and been working really hard on. Bree and Penny have been with me since the very beginning. So they watched this framework. These frameworks continue to get refined and improved over time. I can't imagine that it's going to get any more distilled, concise, actionable than it is right now. And so what you get inside the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system Accelerator is access to the 3 frameworks, each framework replay, worksheets and presentation notes for each framework, a prompt that you can put into an app that will help you implement that framework. And so within 2 or 3 days, or if you want to do it all in one day in 3 or 4 hours, you can do that. But within just a matter of hours or days, you can actually completely understand and start implementing the system. And you will get results in the very first workshop because in the very second workshop, in the second hour, you will be able to reduce the time spent in your business, the amount of effort spent in your business, the amount of attention and revenue that you're investing in your business by anywhere between 50 and 90%. And that means that you're actually gaining time and money. This time is money. If you reduce the time that you spend in your business on things that you don't have to be doing, then that is saving you time, that is saving you money, and it's way easier to make money by saving money than it is to create another stupid offer and all the launch things that have to go along with that. Mathematically, the hardest way to make more money is to launch a new offer. The easiest way to make more money is to have one offer that iterates and improves over time and continue to refine and improve that offer and your system for putting that offer in front of the right people. So, as I was saying, the accelerator now lives in what's called the Inner Circle All Access Vault. People that enroll or subscribe to the Creative on Purpose Substack at the founder level have access to all of the weekly calls. We meet every Monday. We meet every Friday. I saw Seth Werkheiser is here. He's a Circle member. Lorenzo is here. He's a Circle member in addition to Penny, Alice, and Bree. And these are all folks that frequently participate on our weekly calls on Monday and Friday, which are just kind of hangouts where we could engage in small group discussions about principles, concepts, ideas that broadly apply to purpose-driven work, whether that you're a coach, a teacher, a healer, a product designer, a course creator, or just a creative that wants to get the difference that you make through your craft out in the world. Every Wednesday, you're invited to sit in on coaching sessions, hot seat sessions with my current clients, and learn over the shoulder. So you'll see people that are implementing the process that I'm describing for you here, and you can learn from their experience. And then for the inner circle, not only do you have access to the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system Accelerator, which is the core flagship program, you have access to workshop replays and resources that will help you do all this on Substack. You have quarterly planning sessions that are available, trainings on how to create idea viruses, these self-spreading marketing taglines that will attract your ideal customers or attract the right customers and will actually be so sticky and spreadable that they will spread the work that you're doing and the difference that you're making for you. So all of that lives in the vault. And in addition to all that, you get access to a monthly Q&A call where you get one-on-one coaching for me in a group call setting where we can address your specific problems. And if that sounds good to you, now is a great time to consider joining the inner circle. If you're a free subscriber, joining at that level gives you the highest level of access and the most powerful, easily implementable system that I have available for a fraction of what my clients pay me for the same information. And you still get that level of implementation. And if you're a circle member and this sounds like something that you would be interested in trying, upgrade to the inner circle level, you'll have access to all this and all those additional calls in addition to the weekly calls that you already have. So that's it. It's not really here to make any pitch. I'm certainly not here to provide any, dig into anyone's pain or create false urgency. You're seeing in the comments some of the folks that have actually already experienced the accelerator and are currently implementing it and are currently getting results with it. I'll let their testimony speak for itself. When I post this replay, I will be happy to. I'll be happy to also include a link to the article that explains it all. So I'm going to go through the comments here real quick, and this is your chance to ask questions in the chat. I can hang out for at least another half hour, and I'm happy to do that and answer any questions that you have about whether it's about the operating system, the accelerator, or if you have questions about your particular situation, I'm happy to do my best. So Penny says, organizing a system to make things smoother. That's exactly what the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system does. It takes everything that you don't have to learn anything new. You don't have to do anything new. Actually, you're going to reduce the number of things you do and focus on the 2 or 3 things that you need to go right enough to actually get traction and momentum, collapsing time to target toward whatever revenue goal you have for yourself and whatever weekly calendar schedule you want to have for yourself that's going to allow you to earn what you need to fund the lifestyle that you want, but also in a way that fits the lifestyle that you want. It looks like Lorenzo is working between the icebreaker and the diagnostic. Lorenzo is one of my Voxer Velocity clients as well, so we are working on that together. Penny is one of my Cornerman coaching clients, so she and I have been working together for most of the last couple of years, I think. Bree is also a client in Voxer Velocity and is also working on the icebreaker and diagnostic. Bree's doing a great job. Bree and I did a call yesterday, a live yesterday, about the perils of chasing online gurus and digital marketers. And as someone that sometimes is accused of being either or both of those things, the big distinction between what I'm offering through the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system and what most gurus or digital marketers are offering is this system. This operating system meets you where you are, and using only what you already have allows you to create a client attraction system that is built entirely around your personality and preferences, doesn't require you to do anything that you don't want to do. In fact, encourages you to quit all the digital marketing nonsense and get the hell off of social media if you want to. We have Seth Werkheiser here, Social Media Escape Club. He is the person, he's a member of our circle community, but he's also the person that inspired me to finally get off social media altogether. I haven't been on any social media other than Substack Notes since October of this year, since October 1st. And my revenue has only increased in the amount of time that I have to spend doing things I actually want to do has also significantly increased. So shout out to Seth Werkheiser and the great work that he's doing. Alice says that the accelerator was brilliant. We had access to you and asking you questions. Thought it was helpful to hear how others are moving the dial. Yeah, it's really great to learn this in a community. Learning in community creates collective momentum. If you have the right people on the right bus, it's always going to get to the right destination, and you're going to have a really great time doing it. You can get if you get the wrong people on the bus, you're not going to end up where you want to go, and you're not going to end up anywhere good, and you're not going to have any fun. We have a very powerful community of talented, inspiring difference makers who their only ask is that they would like to make a slightly better living and a bigger difference doing work they love with people they care about. Penny says, it is doable and provides what I need, but I have to do the work. That's a great point, Penny. I actually had a question come in before the call, which I thought was really clever. They asked, who will this not work for? And I think that's a great way, like that. I'm a very big fan of via negativa, and the negative way, like looking at all the things that this is not, is a great way to talk about what it really is. I would say that this will not work for you if you're not actually truly competent at what you do. It's one thing for someone to have gone through a bunch of programs and learned a bunch of stuff and put them together in a way that sounds somewhat unique, or sounds like them, and say, well, now I have my own personal framework. I'm going to use all the digital marketing tricks and tactics and hacks and tools to sell this thing. If you haven't validated that offer, if you haven't delivered a promise that you've kept over and over and over again, there's no amount of digital marketing hacks that are going to compensate for the fact that you haven't yet got good at what you do. So if one of the promises of the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system is you won't have to spend any time on digital marketing stupidity or social media. You will spend all day or as much of the day as you want, doing the work that you love with people you care about, which means you will get better at doing what you do. And you will be doing it out loud and in public, which means other people will witness it and experience it. And they will want to learn more about it. Once they become aware and are paying attention, and you've earned their permission and trust by making promises and keeping them, you'll never lack for clients. You'll never lack for customers. And so, the first step is to, like, are you actually willing to do the work necessary to become the best in the world at doing what you can do in the way only you can do it? And are you able to show the restraint to not fall for every digital marketing hack and trick that comes down the pike, thinking that somehow this will miraculously make this thing of yours sell? It won't sell. Like, it certainly won't persist. You can't build a sustainable business on an unvalidated promise or an unvalidated product or service. So it won't work if you don't want to do the work, and it definitely won't work if you're not willing to become the best in the world at doing what you can do in the way only you can do it. And on the other hand, if you're willing to do the work and you're willing to become the kind of person that can make and deliver the promises that you want to keep, this will work faster and easier than any other system out there, because it meets you where you are, audits what you're already doing, helps you stop doing all the things you don't have to do, and helps you do the things you need to do better, easier, faster, which means you're going to collapse time to target with the greatest amount of velocity and ease possible. Lorenzo says, I was actually very impressed with the replay Q&A because you see the practical impact from others to help you reduce time. Yeah, the Q&A calls are some of my favorite calls. Our monthly Q&A calls are always great discussions. It's great to see month after month the progress that people are making and how other people are learning from the success and mistakes other people have made along the way. It's the best way to learn is to learn from other people's mistakes instead of making them on your own. Judah says, you already need a big body of work to benefit from this program. Just started building mine 3 months ago here on Substack. I would say, Judith, that you're in the best position to get started with this process because you don't have to unlearn a bunch of conditioning that a lot of us that got tricked into digital marketing hacky, tricky programs have learned. You can succeed. I really feel like if the only thing I had on Substack right now was the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system, that I could spend the rest of my time on Substack simply meeting with my community and doing lives and live coaching calls, live Q&A calls, live demonstration calls, and there's no need for any other content other than the three core frameworks. So, and if you haven't yet really refined your framework or process or product or service, then this is going to help you get there easier and faster. I would strongly encourage you to check it out. If you haven't, take a look at the introductory video, and I've given everyone, free and Circle members, extended previews of each framework. You can get 80% of each framework and implement it just from the previews. And if you want to expedite that, join the inner circle and get access to the entire replays, the worksheets, and the coaching app, and it'll be well worth it. You'll get there way faster, way easier. Yeah, thank you, Lorenzo. I agree. It works at any stage. Yeah, Scott, Lorenzo says one of the best things I've gotten lately is the not a good fit later, good fit now. You have to know your marketplace. You can't make a sustainable living doing work you don't really care about and with people that you don't really care about. So one of the reasons I prefer to spend most of my time on Substack is I have a way of crafting my Be a Blessing marketing web in a way that is super clear. If you're a prospect or I'm sorry, if you're a free subscriber, I consider you a prospect. You have given me permission to have uh, permission marketing based conversations with you. You have given me permission to engage with you with messages that are anticipated, relevant, and personal. And I'm going to send you content, posts, emails, podcast episodes, workshop replays that I believe will truly help you become the kind of person that can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish as a purpose driven independent business owner. If you have uh, provided me with the privilege and honor of being a member of the Circle community by becoming a monthly or annual paid subscriber, then I consider you a lead. You are someone that has shown that you're willing to invest in your own success, that you're willing to do the work, that you're willing to show up uh, and invest a little bit of time and effort in the weekly calls that we have and in the monthly deep dive sessions and the Q&A calls. And same for inner circle members. You just have a larger level of access to the replays and resources that will get you there faster. And then people that are clients are people that have invested in my low ticket inbox catalyst coaching by email offer, my Voxer Velocity Daily coaching over Voxer offer, or my Cornerman coaching, which provides Voxer Velocity access plus weekly one-on-one Zoom calls. And so I know exactly who my prospects, leads, and clients are, and then I simply am I have ways of bucketing each and within each of those categories. Who are the people that are not a good fit now? Who are the people that are a good fit, but maybe later? And who are the people that are a good fit now? And then all of my content and all of my calls to action and all of my lives and workshops are dedicated to helping people move from not a good fit now to a good fit now, or not a good fit to good fit later to good fit now. We discuss all of this in the Accelerator. So again, if anybody has, Lillian, great to see you here, coming in kind of towards the last third of the live here, but I'm just answering questions about the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system in general, the Accelerator in particular, and if anybody has, if you want to share what's kind of messy for you right now with your business, what's the thing that you're trying to find, fix, or fine tune, I'm happy to share any coaching insights that I might have. Some other questions that came in: where should someone start if they already feel overwhelmed? So it's easy to feel overwhelmed. In fact, the digital marketing syndicate benefits from the amount of distraction and overwhelm in the marketplace. It's probably done a little bit on purpose, and I can easily be accused and be responsible for some of that overwhelm. I've created a ton of content here on Substack over the last 2.5 years. I recently curated the content into buckets. I actually deleted about 80% of the content and put it into 3 different categories. My content about doing work that matters and living a meaningful life or fulfilling life, letting your life speak through you, and living your legacy all gets packaged as creative on purpose content. And I have a section on the Substack that's dedicated just to creative on purpose content. I have a section that's dedicated to the art of encore living. That's for folks that are mostly in midlife transition, but in a life transition in general, where they are looking for insight and inspiration to take intentional action to make their lives next chapter their best ever. And then transcendent solopreneurship, which is where the purpose-driven prosperity model operating system fits, is the content that is dedicated to helping purpose-driven solopreneurs earn a better living by making a bigger difference in less time, with less effort, with less risk, and earning a better living along the way. So the whole point of the accelerator is that eliminates all the distraction and overwhelm. If you are ready to design a business or redesign an existing business with a system that allows you to stop doing 80% of the things that you're doing that actually aren't giving you a return on investment, which immediately gives you time, attention, money, and effort back that you can reinvest into the things that you want, your business, the lifestyle that you want to live, or reinvest some of them in the business, optimizing your business systems. In addition to auditing and eliminating all the cruft in your business, it will help you focus on the three things that have to go right enough for you to start collapsing time to target to whatever your weekly schedule wants to be, or your weekly revenue goal is, or your annual revenue goal is. And because it only requires you to focus on your forever offer, your Be a Blessing marketing web and client attraction system, and then your system for optimizing those systems for defining your most immediate business priority and the most effective and efficient success path for achieving that. So that's how I feel the operating system actually really solves the overwhelm problem. Dedicate 3 hours or 3 days to going through the accelerator content, completing the worksheets, and using the coaching app to implement them. And you will immediately have a business that is built, that is successful enough and built to continuously improve, iterate, and refine itself to perform better and better and better over time in ways that compound over time. You'll immediately get clarity. You'll quickly get traction, and then you will increase the momentum of collapsing time to target every single day, because you'll know exactly what the element of your client attraction system or your business that needs refinement needs to be and how you're going to do that. Another question that came in: how is this different from other frameworks or systems I've tried? Again, I think the big one is it meets you where you are. I'm not here to tell you how to that you should run your business exactly the way I run my business. The way I run my business is based on who I am, what I believe, what my non-negotiables are, my boundaries, my guardrails, what my actual core talents and skills are. And it allows me to show up in places where people who share my values and whose lives will be enhanced by the difference I can make are, and I just show up and I do my best to help people every single day. Some of that work is done for free. Some of it's done for low ticket. Some of it's done for mid or high ticket. But I've created a virtuous cycle of uh, audience an audience that just is continually keeping the programs that I need to be filled in order to make the kind of money I need to make. They're filled. I'm onboarding new clients into Boxer Velocity and Cornerman coaching from a waiting list, which means I have plenty of time to show up and do things like this and just try to be useful and helpful to people, which only creates more goodwill, which only is more proof of competence and expertise. And I get all the social proof from all the generous people that have been making comments about their experience with the accelerator, and their experience with the circle and inner circle community. And so it's calm, it's easy, it's fun. And I spend 80% of my day taking care of my grandsons and hanging out with my wife, going to the playground, baking cookies, heading to the coffee shop, going for a walk. It's pretty great, but it's also something that's accessible to anybody that's on this call. Every single person here has experienced the idea that life is speaking to them because it wants to speak through you. You know that you are here to make a difference. And all you ask in return is that you make enough today to do it again tomorrow. And with the purpose-driven prosperity model, you don't have to learn some new system. You don't have to join another platform. You don't have to join a high-ticket mastermind or any of that. All you have to do is go through a couple hours, a couple days worth of exercises that will help you craft an offer based entirely on who you are, what you're good at, and where you belong. a marketing system that allows you to just show up and make the difference only you can make in the way that you can make it with and for people that you care about. And that work will become your marketing, and you'll have this system for optimizing your business over time that allows you to define exactly what your most immediate bottleneck in your business is, turn that into your number one business priority, and craft a path of the 2 or 3 things that you need to do to collapse time to target and achieve that priority. Another question, what changes fastest when someone actually runs the operating system? I think the number one thing, and maybe Alice and Penny and Bree can share what they've experienced. But I think the fastest thing that changes is that when you do your marketing audit in the second step of the framework, the Be a Blessing marketing, you will find that you are spending way, way, way too much time, attention, money, and effort on things that aren't getting you any discernible return on investment. And you can stop doing those things immediately, which means you're going to save 50, 60, 70, 80, maybe even 90% of the time, attention, money, and effort that you're currently investing, which means you have all that spaciousness and expansiveness and abundance to spend doing the things that you want to do, whether that's lifestyle stuff or reinvesting some of that into your business. Another question, if someone only had a few hours a week, could this still work? Actually, if you had just a few hours a week, that's all you need to make this work. You can go through all 3 video replays in less than 3 hours. And if you took an additional hour to complete the worksheets and use the coaching app to implement the learning and start engaging the field, um, you'd have the whole system up and running and be able to start improving it in a matter of 4, 5, 6 hours. So a couple hours a week. If you have 2 hours a week, then in 2 or 3 weeks, you've got a business that's up and running. Bree says we need to cut stuff. It helps us reduce time spent working for big tech without a paycheck. Yeah, exactly. It's one of the reasons I'm so glad I followed Seth and escaped social media, to not be paying Zuck and Elon and all the rest for the privilege of getting, what I think is exceptional content in front of the people that actually signed up to see it, but only allowing 2 to 4% of them to see it. That's just ridiculous. I can't believe I didn't stop that nonsense sooner. But also just, if you're creating lead magnets every month, if you're launching new offers every quarter, if you're spending your days tweaking your ideal customer avatar and trying to plug all the holes in your super leaky funnel that delivers a 2% to 4% return on investment, you're doing a lot of things that you don't have to do. And there's better ways. There's definitely other ways, but there's also much better ways to build a prosperous, thriving, fulfilling business that will actually get you more of the right people and doing more of the work that you signed up to do when you started your business. Alice says, it really helps me to focus on the things that I want to do and talk to the people that energize me. Through the LinkedIn reach, I was sending 26 messages and I received 5 responses back, which for Alice is kind of at the beginning of her business development. And she's got like a 20% return on investment for direct outreach, where she's just having conversations with people that are eager to talk to her and that are interested in the difference that she can help them make. So she's doing meaningful work. She's getting clearer about what she has to offer and who it's for and how she can put that offer in front of the right people. And she's gaining skill and competence in that work and earning preeminence, which is in the long run going to be the most sustainable way to continue operating her business with increasing efficiency and effectiveness. Seth says, it's amazing how productive we can be when we stop doing work that doesn't make us productive. A big lesson learned from Scott over the last year. So I appreciate that, Seth. Yeah, Seth, I am the lead magnet. That Walter White, that's a great quote. I've not heard that before, but that's a great insight. So I didn't mention this earlier, but the way that I transition, so I talked a little bit about my uh, history. I had a 25-year career as a professional guitar player and studio owner. And when I was deciding that life was asking me to do something else and wasn't really quite sure what that was, I joined Seth Godin's Alt MBA program, was invited to become a coach in that program. A few years later, or a year later, Seth invited me to test drive the marketing seminar, and then invited me to become a coach in this marketing seminar. And I subsequently became a head coach in the freelancers workshop and the creatives workshop. And all of that provided a bridge to help me go from transition from professional musician to um, coach, for lack of a better word. And I think of myself mostly as a community facilitator. But regardless, but one of the things that I would tell people when I was coaching in the marketing seminar is that, people are always talking about, what's my differentiating value proposition? It's you. You are the differentiating value proposition. Only you can make the difference that only you can make in the way that only you can make it. And the sooner you figure out what that is, and the sooner you become preeminent in doing that work, the sooner you can drop all the stupidity that the digital marketers and online gurus are selling you. Period. You are the lead magnet. I love that, Seth. That's from Breaking Bad when he says, I am the danger. Oh, okay, I get it. I didn't watch, I watched Breaking Bad for like 2 episodes and it was too intense for me. I'm such a scaredy cat. Yeah, I am. That's awesome. Oh, Alice says that even one of the people that she reached out to called her. That's fantastic. All right, it looks like I'm not even a TV guy. Yeah, not much. Mostly British murder mysteries these days. That's about as much excitement as this old guy and his wife can take. All right, it sounds like maybe we are um, coming to the end of it. I've answered the questions that came in ahead of the broadcast. I've answered questions as they've come up here. I don't see anything else coming in. We've gone almost a full hour, and so I just want to take a second to thank Seth and Alice and Bree and Penny, who are members of our community of difference makers at Creative on Purpose, as either monthly, annual subscribers in the Circle community or as founder level subscribers in the Inner Circle. If you're interested in learning more about the Purpose Driven Prosperity Model operating system, there's a post that I'll put when the replay goes up that you can read all of the features and benefits and all of the details about the program. And if this sounds like something that you would be interested in learning and implementing in just a couple of hours or just a couple of days, it's super easy. It's super affordable. You'll have my help along the way, and you'll have amazing people like Seth and Alice and Penny and Bree and Lorenzo and many others that will also be sources of insight and inspiration and provide the collective momentum that will help you collapse time to target with the greatest ease and velocity imaginable. And I would just conclude by holding up a mirror and ask yourself, am I actually willing to put myself on the hook and do the work? And if I am I willing to define what success really looks like for me and embrace the fact that I've also embraced all the many ways that I can fail in that endeavor. But with this accelerator, with this operating system, with this community, nobody's going to let you fail. There is no fail. You're going to set a point on the horizon that you're aiming for and striving for, and that is going to evolve and iterate and change over time because life is an evolutionary process. Life is iterative. There's all sorts of opportunities and obstacles that we can't see. And the promise of the operating system and the promise of the community is you may not end up exactly where you said you wanted to end up at the beginning of your journey, but you're going to end up somewhere way better than where you started and probably even better than the place that you were heading for in the first place. And it's going to be done through taking insights that inspire intentional action, getting up and doing the work every single day and doing it in a community of people that are going to help and support you and motivate you to keep the faith and trust yourself, trust the process, and the process becomes the shortcut. So that's what I got for you all today. Appreciate you all being here. And until I see you all next time, be well, do good, have fun.